So, welcome to Social Sessions. Today we have got Darren Thomson, the influential TikToker. How you doing, Darren?
I'm doing not too bad, Sean, yourself.
All the better for having you on, brother. Been a long time. We've been kind of trying to get this going. So, what I'm going to do, Darren, just take you back, just like I did with everybody else. So, where was it you grew up?
Galashiels, mate.
Galashiels, and how was that growing up?
Much, obviously, my growing up was, it was good, obviously. I'm my dad's only son, but my biological mother had 3 other kids with someone else, Kevin, Craig and Ryan. So I see them obviously as my full brothers, but I would only say I only keep in touch with Ryan and Craig.
Aye. Is that just due to life in general, or like was it things growing up that you kind of fell out, or?
Nah, just obviously Kevin is a hypochondriac. He's got all these jobs. Well, so he says, and everything that's happened to me, he's tried to say that he's had.
Aye.
So he talks shit.
So obviously, I done a wee bit of research, Dan. I was looking into Noonan syndrome, and obviously I seen that it was like it was the 1960s. It was a doctor that how was that growing up with Noonan syndrome? How was that?
Fine, obviously. I spent majority of my childhood in and out of hospitals, loads of appointments, operations. But my dad was there for me. So I obviously affected my heart and my liver.
Aye.
But I kind of lived an active life.
Because you're an inspiration to so many people, Dan, and I really like the way that you've come out and like you can have a laugh and you're really quite unique in that way that you're kind of stand out. You go on TikTok, you put yourself out there, and you're kind of an influencer. I mean, we're walking down the road there, and somebody's like, "How you doing, Dan?" And you're really quite well known, and I think it's very inspiring for other people with any kind of disability. So, would you see yourself as that kind of person who's got a wee bit of a voice for people that maybe don't have that voice, Dan?
100% now. Like obviously we'll touch on later is I might have no had my voice, but I'm glad that I do, and I can hopefully help or inspire other people that's got disabilities to do what they love, achieve, because you never know when it's going to be your last day.
And so, see, when you were like at school and stuff like that, when you were, did you obviously, because you're obviously clever and stuff like that. So, did you go to a normal school, or did you go to kind of?
No, so I went to a normal school, normal classes.
Aye.
But because I was quite dumb, not dumb, but I wasn't very good academically.
Aye.
So I didn't like access maths.
Aye.
Normal English and that, and some reason they never let me do French.
Aye.
Oh well. But through like primary and nursery and high school, it was, I would say, a challenge, because obviously everyone grows up and I wasn't.
Aye.
Well, I was, but in terms of I didn't look grown up.
I know what you mean.
So, I failed on my exams at high school. But I didn't really bother because I didn't like school.
Aye. But see, like, obviously, we know kids can be cruel, right? And I know, like, you can defend yourself. I've seen you doing it, and you're quite capable and quick-witted. But was it hard growing up, obviously, just with the kind of Noonan syndrome and stuff like that, when other kids run about you maybe never knew what it was, and maybe did you feel different, Dan?
I mean, I got bullied throughout school, but again, it didn't bother me. When I was in primary 1, I believe, I punched someone in the nose.
Because he deserved it.
Yeah, and then he shoved me over bags and I cracked my head.
Aye. So you did kind of have that kind of way where you were like just like any kid in the kind of playground, just kind of.
Oh, I would either shout at them or just hit them.
Aye. And did you have any good friends that you kind of stood by you right through school? And
I've got still really best mates with one of my friends. Been friends for almost like 20 odd years, which is mad.
Aye.
She's obviously been there throughout. Obviously we don't see each other as much, but I know she's always there. And obviously I've gained other friends from like football, and so.
Because you love the football, don't you? You're a good at it. You can obviously see you're a hobby. But so what I know Hibs have been quite good with you as well. Like they've been quite good, and so is that something that you enjoy doing? Is like obviously the football and can I go into that? And do you see yourself like? Because obviously you'll probably get like a lot of the guys kind of coming down to see you and stuff like that, just to see how. So is it kind of like you enjoy that kind of camaraderie at the football and stuff like that as well?
Like a lot of people have been good with me at the club. Ben Kenzel, he's been brilliant. Yesterday, Craig Sampson, after the warm-up, obviously he's the goalkeeping coach, gave me his gloves. I've met pretty much all the players. Last year, I got David Marshall's gloves.
Aye.
So, a lot of the boys, like Martin Boyle and that, they all know me. They all speak to me, so it's a bit. Nah, I like it.
I suppose it's like, just because I think what you can see written at you is that you don't let your disability get in the way of the things you enjoy, Dan. And I think it could be very easy to be a victim, if you know what I mean, and sit in the house and say, oh, I can't do it, and people would feel so, but you don't do that. You go out, you're proactive. How do you keep that motivation?
I don't even know myself. Like, I do, like, get my bad days, and even when I do, and I go on TikTok Live, I kind of put on a fake smile. But that's my way of coping sometimes.
Aye.
Because obviously I do miss walking and that, which is a bit shit, but it's what it is.
Did you, when you were younger, did you ever walk? Did you ever walk before?
Yeah. Aye. So I used to walk, work, play football, go out every night. Like, I was walking up until the 5th of June 2017.
Wow. So it was just as long, as early as that? It's quite, I mean, it's not that long ago then, Dan. So
7 years.
7 years. And is that obviously something that probably affected you quite a lot? Is there just that ability to kind of...
Yeah, obviously, like, when I had the stroke, I was only given a 3% chance of survival. I caught pneumonia, caught sepsis. My heart rate hit 190 for 3 days straight.
Wow.
My dad got told to unplug the life support machine. Now, I did ask him why never, and his response, because his phone didn't need charged. The fucking bastard.
But obviously somebody's looking out for you.
I don't know who.
But I mean, it's amazing just the resilience you've got. It is. It's a lot of people would have folded under the pressure that you've been, and obviously, social media. Right, we've got both sides of social media. We know social media can be a bad thing. Social media can be a good thing, right? But for yourself, how do you see social media? Like, do you see social media like is something that, because obviously you're quite influential on TikTok and stuff like that.
I think it's a good idea. Like, before what happened to me, I was wanted to do YouTube, but because back then I was nuts, I never. And I think when I had the stroke and I realised that I couldn't do what I used to do, like walk, I kind of turned to YouTube to share my journey, my story. And then obviously that's when I came on TikTok during lockdown. So, and I met so many people through the app. Did I ever think that I would end up with 95,700 followers? No.
Aye. I mean, it's a lot of followers. Do you know what I mean? And it's well deserved. I mean, your content's good. Your conversations, your chat rooms are always good. How do you deal with the kind of negative stuff, the kind of trolls and these kind of people that maybe?
You know what? It generally does not bother me. The reason they're hating is because I'm sort of doing well in my life. Now they could have issues, like family issues or what have you, or, you know, really down and they don't know what to do with themselves. So they go, oh, let's try and troll people.
I know. But it's strange that it's like the whole life I've lived in anything that I've seen and stuff like that maybe bullying and stuff like that, I've never seen anybody giving hate to somebody with like a disability like yourself that's trying to promote how good stuff for people.
Exactly.
I don't get where it comes from. So I think see that approach that you're taking and the perspective that you can actually look at it and go, these guys might be having a bad day or whatever. I think that's amazing. I know, Dan. I think that's actually amazing in the way you can even look at it that way.
I mean, some of the times when there are trolls that come in, I kind of bite at them and then people say, but they're biting. And I'm like, it's easier said than done.
It is easier said than done, and sometimes it just takes you, as you say, if you're maybe having that bad day or you're just kind of can't be bored with people and somebody's maybe come out with a stupid comment and you're like off, and it's easy to bite. Do you know what I mean? And we've all done it, but I think it's just learning how to kind of navigate that whole social media thing. So obviously using your influence and using your stuff. You've done a lot for charity, you've done a lot of stuff. Do you see yourself, where do you see yourself kind of going with your social media stuff in the future, Dan?
Well, with YouTube, first and foremost, I want to try and get the 100,000 subscriber plaque. Hopefully do a lot more interviews with more sports personalities. Just take my social media as far as I can take it.
Definitely.
I am in talks about doing my own event about my life, about my journey with special guests. Yes, it'll be a ticketed event, but you know, I will not be making any money from it, very unlikely, because it's my first event.
Aye.
So I'm gonna see if it sells. But I think I've got the following to potentially do something like that, maybe down south as well.
I don't think there's many people, Dan, that have got the disability kind of that you've got that are so kind of resilient and so kind of out there with it, and no willing to kind of let it hold you back. Do you know what I mean? Which is testament. So I think anybody, I think you can push forward with that, and I think 99% of people will support you on that. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, I'm just going to ask you a wee bit about what is Noonan syndrome? What is it like?
Noonan syndrome is a genetic disorder, so it affects me, but also it can affect people in different ways, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
For me, short stature, I bruise easy, I bleed easy, I was on growth hormone from when I was a baby to when I was 4. They stopped it, and then I went back on it for when I was 6 till I was about 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I essentially got the exact same what Messi got.
Right. Was it the same thing as Messi, was it?
Except, obviously, with the NHS, it was free.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be on build-up drinks. I used to be on pleasure bins and all that. Obviously, I had to, when I was 2, I had to undergo a major heart operation. Then when I was 13, 14, I had to go back into the hospital to get 2 of my wires removed from my chest. I've also had numerous operations, but it's part of my life. Like, it is what it is. Again, obviously, I've always had one eye lower than the other.
Aye.
Just with the stroke, the left eye just went to the shop and never came back. But, like, the fact that I'm still able to talk is amazing. Like, I was looking into Noonan syndrome as well, because I only know so much.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a high possibility that people that's got Noonan syndrome can sometimes lead to strokes.
Aye, there's a lot of. When I was kind of researching it was like heart defects, stuff like that, and it neurology. Aye, it was kind of.
It's like, obviously my dad always knew that I would have a stroke.
Aye.
He never obviously told me.
Aye.
Thank every sore head that I had. I'm like, oh, Dad, I'm having a.
Aye.
But when I had the stroke, I had it. I was in main gaff.
And we see, obviously, like, I know you live as much a kind of normal life as possible, right? What do you do with kids? So drinking and stuff like that? Do you ever drink and stuff like that?
I can drink.
Aye.
It's one of them I very, very rarely drink.
Aye.
Because it's a hangover.
I know, a hangover for hell. That's the...
Or it's no that I can get pissed, wake up and still be pissed. And no, it's
not happening.
No. I don't really like. I don't mind drink. Like, I don't drink as much as I used to before the stroke.
Aye.
But other than that.
So see, when you were kind of walking and stuff like that, did you used to go to like day house parties and stuff like that?
No, I used to go to nightclubs, used to just get pissed. I obviously I've took substances in the past.
Aye.
But
I think it's part and parcel of growing up into it. It's like you just, if you're in the nightclub scene and stuff like that, you're going to get offered it, and you're usually 9 times out of 10 as a young person, you're going to go through that kind of period of trying stuff and all that. That's just the way the world is. And It's getting worse and worse, Darren. We were talking about it earlier, how normalised these things are, and it's hard to go to places nowadays and for the stuff not to be there. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very normal now. And obviously we both know people that probably have had addiction problems and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's just lucky you've never kind of had that yourself. Do you know what I mean?
I would say, obviously, it's quite ironic when I got brought back down to the borders after, obviously, I had the stroke and that. Now, I was on, like, morphine and that. And I said to my dad, oh, by the way, Dad, I tried. Can I say the word?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, by the way, Dad, I've tried cocaine. He said, no, you haven't. No, and I have before my stroke. He went, well, there's nothing I can do now, son. That's probably the best way to tell him. You know what I mean?
When you're taking morphine like that, fire this in as well. I've took this as well. But I think obviously you probably took a lot of strong painkillers that in your day just because of your condition, do you know what I mean? And a lot of these painkillers are kind of strong kind of psychoactive substances as well. Has that ever been a problem, Dan? Have you ever kind of like had problems with them, or have you always just kind of used them the way you're supposed to?
Nah, so when I was like a toddler, I was on loads of medication. I was on medication for my liver, for my heart as well. Eye drop, you name it. But I'm also allergic to paracetamol.
Right.
Which is a weird one, but they found that down in King's College Hospital when I was a baby. They gave me, and well, my temperature's obviously hit the roof. Oh well.
Usually the opposite effect.
That could have killed me, I know.
I know.
When I was 17, I got hit by a car. When I was 17, 18, I got a brick chucked up my stomach. I've been dangled over a balcony by my ankles.
Were you kind of like involved in like no gang fighting and stuff, but were you involved in that kind of territorial gangy stuff when you were growing up, or were you?
I kind of got in with the wrong crowds.
Aye.
Like smash windows.
Aye. Getting
bothered, drinking, just being an absolute fruit look.
Aye.
But like it's all a life lesson. Like I in the past getting arrested with the police. It was fun back then, but like looking at it now, I'm like. But then again, I could say if I never done that, would my life be different?
No, you maybe learn. You
I wouldn't have had the learning experience.
Aye, and it's maybe taught you the lesson that you needed, maybe like to kind of maybe know, or it could have been the opposite. Do you know what I mean? Like you might have been like because obviously once you get in trouble with the police, you know yourself. And how were they with you? Were they all right with you? Like obviously,
majority of them got on with me. Majority of them just. Well, I think I hated them and they hated me.
Aye.
One generally looked like Shrek. But like, no.
You didn't call him Shrek, did you?
Aye. I was, like, back then I wasn't scared of what I was saying to them.
Aye.
But it's...
And you think that was doing to, like...
Alcohol.
And do you think there was maybe a part there of like trying to fit in with the kind of wrong crowd and trying to kind of just
the night that I called the guy Shrek was I wasn't working the Thursday night or Friday morning, so I went to the boozer and the Welsh boys that I'd served that week was there. Yeah, let's just say they got me very drunk. So my brother picked me up in a taxi, took me back to Edinburgh because I kicked off at him. Phoned the police going, blues all the way. There was a butter knife already in the bedroom that I wasn't even going to touch. And that's when the police came in and the guy that just looked like Shrek. I was like, God, I Shrek.
Ask him if Fiona was. Princess
Funny
Fiona.
enough, that's my biological mother's name.
Is it?
And to be fair, well, she's a bit of a whale.
So, see when you're doing you're obviously on, you've got that kind of persona where you're a bit of a cheeky chappy and you've got that cheeky kind of talk. How did you come up with your content and stuff like that, Darren? Is it just, do you take time over it, or is it just kind of spur of the moment stuff you do?
I just wing it.
Just wing it?
Pretty much just wing it. I just wing it.
Would you say, like, obviously TikTok, so you go into that TikTok world, right? You go into the TikTok world and you see a lot of people, and I don't try and get involved in it, right? I try not to get involved in it, Darren, and it's always the same people and the same kind of dramas and stuff like that. How do you deal with the kind of TikTok-y drama kind of?
I do try and stay away from the drama, but it's like I think the drama just follows me. And then I'm like, well, the drama creates views, so
just let it go.
Aye.
It's weird because people are so kind of driven by wanting that drama, aren't they? That's what they want, is the drama and the kind of all the stuff, and you hear a lot of people fawn out over TikTok and fawn out and you, like, I know you don't go into Lee, what is his name, Lee Sutherland?
Well, that balloon.
But I mean, so how does
corruption?
So how does something like that come about? But how do you fight with, just say, somebody like Lee?
I think the fact that there's been a couple of occasions where he's actually been on a live and he's like, Darren, you've got learning difficulty. I turned it into him and went, Lee, I'm that shit, and also I've got a learning disability, no learning difficulty. But like, he says that a lot of people's got learning difficulties. Look at yourself, Lee.
Aye.
And that's no me being a dick to him. And then he says that one minute he hates the police, next he's dressing up as them, the next he's saying that he's a lawyer. Aye, a lawyer wanting a fucking imaginary book. And then he's running to the police because he cares.
I know. This is what I'm talking. So how, see, like, all this kind of drama, how does it, is it all just to do with people on lives? So,
I believe so.
So see if somebody's on a live, just say somebody's on a live and somebody says, oh, Lee's talking about you, Dan. Would somebody tell you who then you're on your live?
Aye.
And then all of a sudden, like, you'll go and try and go on his live to confront it.
Aye.
So do you think sometimes these things are manufactured to try and get you to maybe go and do that?
Some of it could be set up. A lot of when drama and kind of in the middle of it, it's not set up. But the one day that really annoyed me, my mate Ben Crawford was also in the live. He was in the box and Lee was like, was trying to say that he would say if someone caught a paedophile.
Mm-hmm.
Lee said that he would forgive them if they were on their knees crying. Like, and then he was like, if it's their first offence, but if it's not, then jail them. Like, you can't say that.
Right.
And then he tried to say that he got stung 3 times by the hunting team. Like,
Lee said that.
Aye.
So this all this kind of drama, right? And you're like, does it ever affect you mentally?
Nah.
No.
unless they're gonna genuinely do something, it's all talk.
Because it's like, I can only imagine, like, I've been in real drama, right? When you're in the prison system, blah blah, and it's draining, right? It's really as draining when you're in amongst that kind of real drama. Is there a sense that you kind of know it's TikTok and it's not actually going to come to you? Aye.
I mean, I think if anything was to come, then I think it would have. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I have had shit chucked up my door, Chinese's and takeaways delivered to my address. But again, the stingy shits didn't pay for them.
Aye.
I mean, if they were free, then I'd happily take them. But like, it's one of them.
So do you think because it's hard for me. I sometimes try and watch it, right, and obviously I see people fawn out a lot, and it's like, it's just daft things. Like, so like obviously I know you were kind of pally with Kaz, right? And then obviously there was a lot of kind of stuff running about that kind of event and stuff like that. And a lot of people fell out with Kaz, and a lot of people back Kaz up and all this kind of stuff. And does any of that, do you ever feel as if people are trying to maybe, because you've got a good following and stuff, do you think people try and draw you into that just to kind of
try and jeopardise things that I may want to do in the future?
And how do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with that? Just kind of on a, just as you would, just kind of go on with it and just kind of.
I mean, it's one of them. It's TikTok. It's no real life. Well, it is real life, but it's people behind a screen.
I know, and it's persona. You're on it for, as you say, if it's like if it's a bit of drama and you're having a wee debate and it's stuff like that, then that's fine. Do you know what I mean? As long as if nobody's getting hurt and stuff like that. But I think things like that can quite quickly turn into toxic stuff where people start saying things that aren't true. I've seen a few allegations getting punted about that are quite serious allegations, and then there's no really anything to back it up, or there's nothing to say, and it's stuff that really shouldn't be getting said. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
So would you make of that kind of front? Like, they try and stay away from that?
Again, I try and stay away from it, but what I find weird is the stuff that Lee was saying about Kaz, saying about Sean Paul and that. You can't come out with that. And then when they say things about Lee, Lee doesn't like that, well, I
know if you're saying how it's because it's no. I mean, obviously, what I was kind of surprised at is what is getting said. It's no as if somebody's calling somebody like, "Oh, look at you fat bastard," or "Look at you, yeah." It's fucking some serious allegations, man. And that's where I kind of go, wow. That's you can't do that. Do you know what I mean? You can't make stuff up like that, and you can't do. And it seems always to be the same people that are involved in these dramas. Do you know what I mean? And it gets kind of, I don't know if it's because it's dangerous, Dan. I think it's dangerous in the way that somebody could end up getting hurt through it. Do you know what I mean? And it's no, as you say, it's no real life. It's TikTok. It's supposed to be an app that everybody's on there having a laugh. It's supposed to be all right if you have a wee joke and a bit of banter, but when it starts going down that road,
like accusing folky all sorts, you can't, unless you've got solid evidence, go to the police.
I know, definitely, and I think it's got to be. So, do you think? Obviously, there's people talking about. You've got like Donald Trump and stuff like that saying he's going to ban it and all that in America. You've got like other people saying that it should be policed a lot better. What do you think of the guidelines on TikTok?
I think I believe if you're setting up an account, I fully believe you should use your passport photo or maybe your passport photo, like, so that can always, so say for instance, Sean, you created an account with, say, and you couldn't make up fake names. You had to make an account through whether it was using a proper photo yourself. So then,
the way you'd need to do when you monetize it, kind of thing. Like,
aye.
So that would be your first starting thing. And then where would you take, what do you think you like the kind of freedom of speech that's on TikTok?
This should be, because nowadays you can't say this, because...
And some of the things are weird. I mean, I don't, like, I'm no great on TikTok, right? And I know big bits and bobs. Right? I'm coming up for 40, I'm getting old. So
you're 45.
I know. But when you've got that, I've said a couple of things and I'm talking about maybe like drug policies getting changed, or I'm talking about like, and it'll come up and say strike, violation, and you're like, why? And then it'll say, and then I'll watch other people's lives and I'm like, the stuff they're talking about is mental, and I'm like, how they...
I've been, the amount of times that I've been banned for bullying and harassment when I told. But the funny thing was, I had one of my mates, Leah, in the box. Her camera was off, right?
Aye.
I didn't have a t-shirt on, but she got the violation for nudity. And I never even had. She never even had the camera on.
So that's how wrong it can get.
I know.
You
I'm like, the amount of times that whoever's been in my box, they've got a violation for something that I probably said.
Aye.
I'm like,
take that.
It's bad. Like, you can't, fair enough. You can't even drink, you can't do this and that. Why
you
not?
Stop
like,
vaping, isn't he? Like, I vaped and it gave me a violation. I didn't know that you weren't allowed to do that.
The way that I see it is, there should be a section or a category. One category for adults and a category for underagers.
Aye.
Now, if you're in your 20s, then you need to be in the adult category.
Aye.
And whoever you're joining will be in the same age bracket. Rather than, say, you were to join, just say a lass.
Aye.
And obviously they were underage. Again, you're not doing anything wrong because you're just battling.
Aye.
Like...
So a lassie could bat, because I don't do battles really, right?
Like, so you could battle someone, say a lass, and you're just having... Now that lass could, you say maybe 15.
Aye.
And then, but you would be getting backlash probably. Oh, battling them.
So because you're battling somebody who's 15, but that's legal on TikTok? No? Or should you no be?
See, I don't know, but I'm just saying if you were, you'd be like getting called all sorts.
It's mad, isn't it? I can't pick it up. It's the weirdest. It is the weirdest app I think I've been on. It's a good app. I like it.
It is a good app,
like it, right? But it's bonkers. It's like a whole new. It's like a whole world. It's like a whole subculture.
I thought of bringing out my own game. You've heard of Flappy Bird, eh?
Aye.
Flappy hand. Flappy hand.
But you've got... This is what I'm saying, like, you've got... I've seen things on TikTok, right, where it's like guys that have got... And it's like... It's smash or pass, right?
You're not getting away with it.
And they're getting so many views for this. Now, this is... I could not believe it. I says to my missus, look at... Now, she was just like, she's not into all that, right? But I went, Fiona, look at this guy. This guy's getting, like, so much money here. He's getting, like, gifts and everything. And all he's doing is lasses are sending him photos. And he's saying smash, pass, smash. And I'm like... is he actually doing that? Like what I thought? I didn't. I in my head, I'm going, is that what he's doing? Because it surely can't just be. And see the lassies that were sending photos in, they were kind of nice. I mean, they could be fake accounts, right? But they were kind of nice looking lassies and all that. And I'm like, where?
But then again, they could be underage.
But why? This is where. Why seek that kind of validation for somebody who's just like
I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't as if he wasn't an ugly looking guy or anything, but he wasn't like a pure he wasn't a Brad Pitt, know what I mean? And I'm like, why is this guy getting all these lassies sent? And that's the dangerous thing, I think, is for young people is wanting to get that exterior validation for an app. That's where I go. It's getting dangerous, Darren. I think when you go down that road, and something like that getting so many views kind of scares me a wee bit.
Like obviously, when I was with Ed, I was in I think 1,000 or maybe 2,000 in my life.
Aye.
But that's only because loads of folk wanted to see what me and Ed were up to.
Aye.
And I've got not a bad bone. I don't disagree with Ed. Like, I talk to Ed now and then.
Who's this? Ed
Matthews.
Ed Matthews, right. I know who he is. I don't know him, but I know who he is.
But again, like, I feel like a lot of the people, i.e. like Kaz, a lot of them jumped on the
bandwagon.
Cause I was weird. Like Ash.
So is Ed got a big following?
Yeah.
Right. So Ed's got a big following, and then all of a sudden people were coming out the woodwork and wanting to kind of
collab with
you, right?
So before I met Ed, I was on like 45k.
Mm-hmm.
But when Ed came, he spent a week, and where I am now. But he done a lot of things for me.
Aye.
Now.
And why did they do that? Just because he's obviously got a huge following.
So me and him were speaking like from last year or so. So we were always planning on meeting up.
Mm-hmm.
But he's obviously came up to Scotland, spend a week and kind of helped me grow my platform.
Did he? Aye. Big shout out, man, to him, mate.
I mean, he spent almost £600 on my own clothes.
Did he? Aye. A big shout out to Ed.
Like, I still talk to Ed, like, now and then. But, like, a lot of people were coming out the woodwork. The likes of Astrid, Wet, a few others, and I'm like...
Is this people that didn't speak to you even before?
Aye. Like, I followed them, but they hadn't... I didn't know who. But I'll give people credit, like, you know, Matty?
Aye.
Matty knew me way before I blew up. Now, me and him were always going to meet up.
Mm-hmm.
But he waited till everything died down to come and meet me.
Aye.
A lot of the other ones that were my mates waited till everything calmed down to come and see me.
Aye.
And that's why it's about where's Kaz, he met me way before
I
blew up when I met Lana. But because I wouldn't pop in what he said, he wasn't interested until I was with Ed, just because he wanted to try and get Ed on his undercard. And
that's obviously something that it's hard to navigate into, because you're obviously a friendly guy. I mean, I've only spent a couple of years with you, right, and I've enjoyed your company. You're friendly, you're funny, but you probably do need to watch people like just coming out the woodwork then with somebody like...
I'm like...
Because it's no nice to get used in any way. Do you know what I mean? And that goes for us all. I mean, we've all got like platforms and different things and stuff like that, and it's people do try and come out the woodwork, and I've had it myself with people. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I've not got anywhere near as big a following as you guys on TikTok or anything, but certainly with the podcast, when that started getting a bit better now, and started getting more views and stuff, you definitely get people coming out the woodwork and starting to want to come in and get involved, and you do need to kind of just draw boundaries, don't you, and just say, right, I'm only going to accept this if it's going to benefit me as well, then kind of thing. Like, and that's no a nice thing to say, but if you know that they're using you, then you kind of go like that, well, what's in it for me as well then? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
because...
So, when I was with Mark, and Mark was in his car, and obviously I was in my house, and he was like, I was like...
Mark Hamilton?
Aye. And I was like, oh, what you doing this week? Back then, he's like, oh, I've got to be somewhere on Thursday, need to promote something. So, even before he even asked me anything, all I said was, as a joke, what's in it for me?
Mm-hmm.
And Mark's obviously took that.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting something.
Aye.
But all I said is, what's in it for me? Like,
Is that Mark Hamilton? Does that know your pal? No, does he know your friend? Does he know your pal?
Well,
Don't know.
He's fell out with me, but
Oh, has he?
it's not the first time he's fell out with me.
I'm sorry to hear that. I thought the two of you were pretty close, man. Like, I didn't know. Like,
Nah, but...
I like Mark. I can only take Mark on face value. I really like him. But for what I've seen him, I don't know him the way you know him. But
like, obviously, what I said to him on live is, all I said is, what's in it for me? But what the thing that annoyed me with Kaz was, pretty sure Kaz went to me, Darren, Ed didn't come down or come up to see you as a mate, came up to me, like, to create content, and I was like, no, Kaz. Me and Ed spoke way, like, maybe a year and a half before he even came and saw me.
If Ed's come up today and if it's anything to do with content creation, he's got the biggest following, so he's helping you. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
But me and Ed were also mates.
Exactly. But you can't say, how can he say that if he's got a bigger following and he's helping you? That if it was opposite way about, I could see what he was talking about, but it doesn't make sense. Like,
does cards ever make sense?
Yeah, I know. Probably not going to that one, But
I don't want to lost it.
I know. But no, I think it's just I'm dead interested in the platform, right? And I just like I go in and do my lives, and it's usually I usually do my lives about prison reform, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's topics that will.
But you even get flagged for that.
I've been flagged for prison reform.
Mate, honestly, thing is, you're not doing anything bad. You're raising awareness.
Exactly.
And TikTok's like, no, but a lassie that can be kinda, let's be honest, half naked or so, doesn't get a violation.
It's a strange world. It is. TikTok is probably the strangest. I've never. When I first started going on it, I was going like that. Like, is this really like? I don't, because I didn't know today. And then I remember the first time I went into a battle, and I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was allowing somebody to come in to speak, like about prison reform, right? So I went and accepted this thing and it all came up pure as if I was in Street Fighter or something, and I was like that. Right, what's happening here, man? And I was like that. All right, mate. I say, so what do you think of prison reform? The guy's like, hello, how are you doing, mate? I was like that. What do you think? What's your experience of prison? He went, prison? I've never been in prison. What are you talking about? I was like, and everybody's obviously all laughing in the comments and that, and I'm like, what is happening here, man? And then somebody says, like, you're in a battle, and I was like, this guy was just, I don't know, I ended up muting it and just going, what the hell is happening here, you know what I mean? So that was a lesson learned for me, so no, I declined them, do you know what I mean, when they came through, but I know that there's a lot of money in it, Dan, right?
That's what I mean. These big careers like CLA and all, they're probably making maybe like in the region between 1 to like 10 grand.
Well, I've heard figures for people. I'm not going to name names, but I've heard figures of people like 5 grand a month, 6 grand a month.
That's what I mean. And if I go, oh, geez, roses, I'm begging.
I know.
All right.
Listen, see if that's what you are as a content creator. and then you're going on and you're got a following. I'll tell you who's really good at it. I'll tell you that wee Adam is really good at.
Adam's
he's actually really good at how he does the battles and that. But I've watched him doing the battles, and he's actually really good.
He dresses up as.
Carol McGee's really good, and I think if you've got a following, right, who support you and like to watch you, and they'll and listen, then they can pay to watch you. I don't see a problem with that. I don't see a problem with that. If you know that when they're going to gift you and you're as good at battling as the way they are.
But just if I'm having a laugh, oh, can I get 4 roses? Get your cash out, you bunch of tight people. As a laugh, I'm getting called begging. But yet CLA and all that can be rude as fuck.
Oh, I've seen some of them, like I've seen some people like really going like get the gifts out and you're like
I ken who your best friend is.
Oh, mine's?
Aye, Alpha Bar.
Alpha Bar? Who's that?
Sure, do you know?
Alpha Bar?
You don't know who Alpha Bar is?
No, genuinely.
Can I show you? Aye?
The first person that spoke to me about TikTok was 5-0.
What?
5-0 was telling me that TikTok was a good way to try and expose my podcast and stuff like that. So that was how I kind of originally found out about TikTok.
So you don't know who Alpha Bar is?
No. How has he been saying stuff about me?
No. It's
I mean, it is for a lot of people, it is a job, isn't it?
Aye. Here's your best mate.
Alpha Bar. That's better than a bam up, Dan. Alpha Bar.
Do you like her?
I take it that's a male.
Yeah.
Alpha Bar.
Do you know what she said on one of her lives?
What?
That she can get pregnant.
I think there is a crazy way now of doing things like that. I do think that there's... I don't know how it's done, but I've certainly read something recently where there's a procedure. I don't know how or anything like that. I don't know what happens, but I think there is a procedure done that... I mean, that's another whole like thing that really you can't even speak about on TikTok. I know. And you get
those are the gloves Craig Sampson gave me.
Showing into the camera, aye, they're cool man, isn't they? Another one in there, aye.
Aye.
Straight for Craig Sampson.
Aye, he had them in his hand. I said hi to him and...
So how do you know so much about Alpha Bar?
Because she deals with CLA and all that.
Is she a big content creator?
Who, Alpha?
Aye.
I don't know how though.
It's all this is where I think TikTok can be educational, right? It can be good for promoting things that need promoted. It can be good for raising awareness. But I think that a lot of it's one-sided in what you can promote and what you can't promote. Do you know what I mean?
It's like you can promote this, you can't promote.
Like I think it's especially when you go into politics and misinformation. And I know a boy who gets cut down all the time.
That's me in 2017 with the Welsh boys.
Is that you, Stephen?
Probably. I'm always, back then.
Back then you were
always
out clubbing in Gala shoes.
Aye. And then going to work the next.
Were you a bit of a mover? Were you a good dancer?
No, I just went and chatted
the birds up. So I'll ask you that. Obviously, like I know it's a personal question, but how do you do with the lassies, Dan? How do you do with the girls?
Well, like now or back then?
Both back then and
so now. Back then, I don't know how I done it, but I used to neck on with quite a few 10 out of 10s. Now,
Have you dropped your standards a wee bit these days?
No. I didn't. Why should I?
So who's your... Just because you're getting older, mate. You're getting older now.
Well, at least when I'm 80, 90, I don't need a walking stick.
But, so have you got a girlfriend now?
No, but I'm kind of speaking to someone.
Aye.
Well, as mates and all.
But you've got different ideas?
No, stay mates, and if anything, happens, then if it doesn't, I've got a friend.
That's it. So do you meet a lot of lassies and that on TikTok and stuff like that? Is there a lot? Is that a platform that you can kind of get to meet like new lassies and stuff?
Aye. It's good. Like I've met. Obviously not met like in person, but I've spoke to quite a lot. 10 out of 10 on TikTok.
On you go, Dazza. On you go.
I'm not shy. Obviously,
where does the nickname Timmy come from?
That was HS that came up with that.
And what was it? What was it meaning, Timmy?
So see the guy at South Park.
South Park. Aye.
The guy in the wheelchair.
Is that what it was?
Aye.
Timmy.
I mean, could be worse. It could be called Chucky.
Chucky. But so.
Or the Goonies.
No, not at all.
Hey, you going?
But no, is that how you? So I didn't know that then. I was when it came to me, but I think were you not going to start a kind of some like kind of thing where it was kind of like a South Park kind of thing in like a range or something like that?
No, that was Mark's idea.
No, I mean,
no, David and that's going to happen.
No,
but it is what it is.
I know. You can't. You just need to go with the flow, and hopefully you and Mark make back up because you're good pals, and it's just one of these things that you friends fought, didn't they? So
the way that I see it is, if folk want to follow me, then were they proper my mates? Then
well, mates fought, didn't they, Dan? Did they?
They do.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. You don't know what Mark. I think you should probably ask him. You should probably send him a wee message and just say, look,
he's blocked me.
Has he blocked your number and stuff as well?
He's blocked me and everything.
I can drop him a wee message if I'm not saying he'll get back to me, but I could if you want and just say, Mark, look, we're doing a podcast with Darren today. He would like to kind of maybe see if these can speak again. I'll do that for you, no bother. If you want, I'll do that when we go out then. I mean, obviously it's up to Mark. As I say, I like Mark, and I'm not. It's nothing to do with me, so I'll do that for you. But the whole thing is so like I see like my mental health at times. My mental health gets affected down with the prison and stuff, right? I definitely suffer for kind of trauma and stuff like that, and I know that you've had quite a traumatic childhood, quite a traumatic, even just with all the surgery you've been through, all that kind of stuff. So how do you keep your mental health? What strategies do you have in place?
I actually don't have none. Like, I kind of know when I'm having a shitty time.
Aye.
Now, believe it or not, I'm actually scared to death. Don't know how. I just... Now, obviously, I have, in the past, put things around my neck and that.
Aye.
But I physically get to a point where I'm like, nah.
Aye.
Because I'd be hurting my dad. Yeah, my pain's gone, but I'm leaving...
Aye, no,
devastation behind.
No, it's something. I mean, obviously, I've been there, Dan. I know what you're talking about, and I've been in that position where you would rather not be here than be here. But I mean, mental health's a big topic, and especially when you've had kind of trauma that we've had. Do you know what I mean? And a kind of traumatic But what I think both of us can say is that we try and highlight it in the best way, and we try and highlight it and show that there is another way. You can do other stuff to it's no the end of the world. And especially when I was going to get you on this podcast, it really was to show how somebody that's born, cards against them, 3% of living when you had the stroke, blah, 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 and you're still here, resilient, having a laugh, able to create content on TikTok, be quite an influential TikToker. So it's just to kind of show people that are maybe struggling, and I always do that with this podcast. I always try and go down that road to anybody that's maybe watching it, and people that think there's no way out, or they're stuck, or their life couldn't get any worse. I mean, what would you say, Dan? Like, how do you...
Just that, obviously, there's people in worse positions than us in the world. And it could be worse. It could be Lee Sutherland.
You've really got it in for Lee, haven't you?
But he's came at me loads.
I'm sure he'll come at you again after this podcast.
If it does, it does. Oh, well.
But no, I think, like, obviously you're a testament to anybody who really has got a disability and thinks that they can't do anything. And I think what you've created is a platform to at the very least open up discussion.
Yes.
That things like Noonan syndrome, maybe even Down syndrome, things like that.
Because if you look, Noonan syndrome is second coming to Down syndrome.
I seen that.
Because if you look at someone with Down syndrome and look at someone with Noonan's, you'll see similarities. Especially the eyes.
Aye.
Because I've always had one high and one lower. Now that eyeball's just fucked up since the stroke.
Aye.
And no one had to come back. But I can actually see it.
Aye. No, I mean...
It's weird how, like, that eyeball technically controls that.
Aye.
And I'm like,
I think you're just over the years, you there's stuff like, I can't remember what you call it, but there's like stuff like your heartbeat and all that you don't control. Like, and I think partly over the years your sight's probably just became like
normal.
Aye, just used, like, fixed itself, do you know what I mean? In the way that it's kind of...
the eyeballs not came back.
Aye, that's still at the show. Darn, that's still at the show. But this is the type of thing, I think, honestly, it's brilliant that you can have a laugh and you're able to kind of, you don't play that victim and stuff like that, which is amazing. And I think that it's dead easy for all of us, including myself, to get caught up in that position where you maybe think you've been wronged, or you've got this hat, but you really need to look and try and look at the perception. Then it's all about perceiving things. How do you perceive that? Do you know what I mean? And if you look at it and you go, do you know what, I'm not going to let this beat me, and I'm going to go and do this, and I'm going to do that. And I wish you all the best with all your stuff that you're coming up. Like, I hope you do get your own wee kind of event and stuff like that up and running, and I hope you and Mark get hopefully back together talking and stuff like that, and maybe get something going with the thing that you were talking about, because I think life's too short.
100%. Like, I've always been a fighter through my heart operation, through a lot. Now, if my body was to give up, I think it would have gave up 7 years ago when I was in the coma.
Aye.
Now, I truly believe I'm a cat in a human's body.
Aye. 7, so many lives you got left then?
Don't know.
4 or 5?
So I should have been dead when I was born, dead in my heart operation, been hit by a car, been dangled over the balcony by my ankles. Then I had the stroke.
What was that for?
Oh, we were all pissed and the guy was drunk and we were just arguing, and
Aye. Who does that? Like,
But then I did say to my dad, if he dropped me, I would have landed on my feet.
That's just.
But
You must have been going to be with some crowd, man. Like for somebody to do that. I mean, if we had like a pal that was the Noonan syndrome and somebody even tried to do that, man, it just wouldn't have been happening. I don't know. Like it's just. It's a weird. Listen, obviously, I'm just getting old now. I'm just. Getting
my dad had
but
to pick me up from Selkirk, Peebles, and even Edinburgh.
Aye.
Drunk.
I think that's fine. Do you know what I mean?
But I think what annoyed my dad the time that he came up to get me from Edinburgh, he had just opened a can of beer. So he couldn't have it.
He was ready to get a couple of beers.
I know.
So what is your event? What are you planning? What are you thinking?
So I'm hoping to have special guests, whether that's footballers, ex-footballers, people in sport, maybe people, big influencers,
aye,
to come on and share the stage with me and basically talk about like some events from my life.
Aye.
And we're gonna just hopefully have a good night and
aye. Sounds good. I mean, it sounds as if you've got the plans and
I mean,
stuff like
I don't think this event when we do it, I don't think there'll be money to make for it because it'll be my first event.
Mm-hmm.
But then if it's a success, then I can then hopefully maybe do down south.
Aye.
And do and
listen, see, like event planning's a great job. Then you can make a good earning, a good living through event planning.
Do you do it?
I've got a pal who's good at event planning, but event planning's like an art. Honestly, it really is. It's like an art. It's no, and I'll give Kaz one thing. He actually did pull off quite a good show for the boxing.
I mean, I'd rather them do majority work and me just.
I mean, you can pay event planners. They cost a lot of money.
Aye, well,
I mean? But I mean, it's something if you were thinking about going down that road, it would maybe be something that you could do. There's like online courses that you could go and learn about event planning and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
To try and get like my own brand, like a brand, getting in touch with me, and why not?
Definitely. I mean, it's events are like are something that everybody goes to. Do you know what I mean? So if you can set up an event, raise awareness for whatever. You could, just because it's a charity night, right? Obviously, if you label something as a charity night, you need to give the money to charity.
Yeah.
But you can label the night as some of the money will be going to charity.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Like you can do that, and you can still get a wage if you go and do an event and you put all the plan and you put all the work in, then you're probably, I would say, you're entitled to a wage. Do you know what I mean? It's you can't, but you can't. There's certain rules and stuff. But this is where if you were going to go into event planning, you could go and learn all that, Dan. Do you know what I mean? And it would give you something to, I don't know, I mean, you could pull off something that you could do every few months. Do you know what I mean? There's plenty of people out there, a lot of DJs and stuff. I've got their own kind of nights that they do. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they do. Is it's all about event planning and trying to get the people in the doors into it. It's like,
I mean, like,
you need to start somewhere.
If there was even do like guest appearances.
I mean, obviously, that's how you pull the people in, is obviously getting people.
I don't know whether, like, I've always looked at, I don't know whether, like, nightclubs up here or Edinburgh would have, like, myself promoting the.
Why not?
Exactly. If I can earn a wee bit of money doing it, so be it. If folk are getting pictures with me, that could be a way that I could earn money as well.
Loads of people do that. Like I've been to events, I'm not going to name names, but I've been to events where people have charged 20-25 quid for photos and stuff.
Could you help me try and get a nightclub appearance.
Would I help? I mean, I'll certainly look into how you would do it. I can't promise you. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Like, I couldn't promise you, but I know a couple of people that could maybe have a wee talk with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know a couple of DJs and stuff like that that could maybe have
Obviously, I'm not going to be a dick and be like, oh, damn, I'll be $5,000.
No, I don't. It depends on what you're going to. Like, I don't know. You would need what you need to go out. But this is only my advice, Darren. Is you need to go away and have a real good think on what you want today and what you want today. Do you want it to be an event where you're raising awareness for disabilities, right? Or do you want it to be an event where everybody's having a good time and everybody's having a social time? Do you know what I mean? Or like, this is where you need to choose.
Aye.
Because if you're going to go down the road of, I mean, that doesn't mean you can't do both in the future. But if you're going to go down the road of event planning and you're going to get
I wouldn't
somebody,
say I'm going down the road of event planning because I've got a friend that helps me.
right?
But I would love to do like guest appearances in nightclubs.
I mean, have you got a LinkedIn? A LinkedIn. I mean, I don't use it much, but I've got one. But a LinkedIn basically just allows you to put yourself up as a guest appearance, and people that are looking for people to do guest appearances will approach you if they want you. Do you know what I mean?
Could you help me set one up?
I'm actually the rubbishest person to ask on that, because I'm my LinkedIn's terrible myself, but it's very much just like a Facebook and stuff like that.
Aye.
You just set it up, Dan. It's no hard. I think you'd probably be what you do.
Are we still recording?
Aye.
Aye.
It's you'll be able to do it no bother. Do you know what I mean? And I think even just your Facebook and stuff like that, I would just use that.
Obviously, I've got to be. Because I want to try and get in touch with...
Phone some nightclubs. Phone them. Just that chance. I mean, all you can do, they can say no.
I mean, I have, but then it's try phone them at the right times.
I know.
That's why I need a kind of a manager.
But if you've got, there's plenty of people out there that'll hang you. You just need to, obviously, the funds. You need money for a manager.
That's the worst thing, mate.
We'd all have a manager, man.
Because it's different when they come to you.
Aye. When they want your help, it's totally different.
That's what I mean.
Aye. No, totally different. That's how these things work, but it's always kind of one way. But it will flip eventually where you get the power and the power becomes yours. Do you know what I mean? So obviously we're kind of coming up to the end of the podcast, Darren, right? It's been brilliant. It's been like really kind of interesting for me as well, just to kind of talk about all this stuff. But my main kind of thing was always to have you on here just to show that that you can get through adversity, you can get through so many things, and I think you're a testament to yourself with that. I really do, and I wish you kind of all the best in the future with it, and anything I can help you with, give me a shout. I mean, I'm quite new to all this, Dan, as well. I'm like, I've only 9 months I've been doing it. Do you know what I mean? You're probably better talking to like 5 or something for things like that. Do you know what I mean? He's probably better like than me with all that kind of stuff. But I think like if you're going to go down that road, I think you've already got half the stuff. You've got the following. You've got the kind of, you've got people that know you. You're kind of recognised. That's a start. That's the start. That's the platform you need. It's just believing in yourself and taking it to the next step.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So what I'll do, right, is I'll just obviously always just kind of give the guest the kind of last wee message, right? So, and I always try and say, maybe somebody that's sitting watching this, Dan, that's maybe got an addiction or maybe got like a disability, maybe got like mental health problems or stuff like that. What would you say to them just to kind of like give them a wee lift or give them a wee kind of...
Live every day as if it's your last. Do what you love. Go and... I don't know if it's... Do whatever you want in life. Believe, because you don't know when your last breath is. Pretty much.
Aye. and just go out and take the bull by the horns into it. And
Pretty much, mate.
Aye. But listen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. And honestly, I hope I'll keep in touch with you, definitely.
Aye, 100%.
And thank you very much for coming on, Dan. Thank you very much.
Nah, it's alright.